Hello, and welcome to the Mountain Breaks. Yeah, I'm just on the train, Xplorer train. Where are we? Ivanhoe? Yeah, you have a few stops along the way. Yeah, so it's actually quicker to get the train than to drive, because there's a train which actually goes parks direct to Broken Hill, but there's no road. It's kind of interesting, yeah. Probably something to do with Henry Parkes, yeah, when he was governor, when he was he state governor or something, and so yeah, and so probably got this is a pretty old train line. I mean, the train itself is just like kind of falling apart, and even the train line. So I think it was closed for like about 6 months, and so yeah, part of the construction was probably putting a train from Sydney to Adelaide, which goes right through New South Wales, and the roads don't go through. So yes, you have to go through Dubbo. You have to drive Dubbo. Interesting, yeah. So it's only 6 hours. It's actually not that far from Parkes through to Broken Hill if you're catching the train. But if you're driving, you can't drive through. You have to go by Dubbo. So yeah, I found that quite interesting, and also a lot of wildlife. In fact, a lot of emus. I haven't seen emus for years, or since Barron was in WA. And yeah, so there's a lot of emus. Yeah, which typically is the case around South Australia or Flinders Ranges, South Australia. A lot of emus. WA, a lot of emus. You know, the emu export actually I think comes from WA. And of course kangaroos. But in fact, if you want koalas, you have to go Victoria or Queensland, the coast of Queensland. So I guess koalas are going to be more on the coast. It seems that way. I don't know if they're koalas in WA. Never seen a koala in WA, but so it's basic. Yeah, it's location for wildlife. So that's why you have to travel the whole of Australia if you want to see every piece of wildlife. Oh, now on the tennis front. Yeah, I was looking at this. Roger Federer. Yeah, I think the only record he has is the consecutive weeks #1. I think he holds that record at 237. Because that's pretty difficult, isn't it, to be consecutive #1? Although Djokovic he smashed the #1. I mean, he's 416 or something, and beat the record of Steffi Graf. But in terms of consecutive #1. Was Roger Federer during the that kind of dominance, and of course Nadal, but Nadal was only winning the French. In fact, Nadal overall not very great in terms of overall performance. It's just because he just dominated on clay or the French Open in particular, and I don't think he's #1. Yeah, I think he did get to #1, but it wasn't anywhere near the likes of Roger Federer or Novak Djokovic. So yeah, I thought that was sort of interesting. But then again, yes, Nadal, in terms of consecutive years winning a Grand Slam, Nadal holds that record because he was just winning the French. and yeah, at 8, I don't think he won 8 consecutive French, because he lost that year. It was in 2009 to Soderling, but he probably won another US or something. So I think he won 6 consecutive French, and then. But yeah, that's pretty interesting stuff. And what was Djokovic? Or Sampras, wasn't it? Sampras at 6 as well or something. Because I remember Sampras was just winning a slam, yeah, pretty much every year. When he won his first slam, I remember he was just consistently winning at least one slam every year. Because he would typically win Wimbledon, and he of course won the 7 Wimbledon. So yeah, it's sort of interesting. Yes, you have to sort of look at Sampras, because he retired at 32 at the end of the day after he won the US. He didn't continue on to the sort of 37, 38 range of Djokovic or Nadal or Federer. Federer went to 41, which was kind of just pointless because he won his last slam 37, I think. In fact, he was older than Djokovic. So yes, Djokovic would have to win another slam to beat that record of Federer. But in fact, Ken Rosewall was 38. But in fact, Djokovic did win another slam, he would be 38. Or I think he would have the record. So you'd have to, yeah. But I don't know. If Djokovic win, well, he lost to Alexei Poprin in the last US in the second round or something. So I don't know. But yes, there is the ATP finals coming up. Of course, Nadal never won an ATP finals. In fact, he couldn't play on indoor hard at all. Federer on, I think, 5 or 6, and Djokovic the same. End of year ATP finals, but not Nadal. I think Nadal's now. I think he's completely gone now, isn't he? After that Davis Cup. So, yeah, I think it's pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, so Federer, yeah, it's just the consecutive weeks number one. If you call that a record, I guess you could. Then again, Ash Barty. No, she doesn't hold the record for women's consecutive one, but she comes in maybe 4 or something. Quite impressive because of her dominance when she was playing and was when she did get to number one. She held that for quite a period of time. And yes, she won all 4 slams, if you include doubles, the US.
Pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. We have a Mia on board that was supposed to get off at Ivanhoe. Can you make yourself known to a crew member, please, immediately? In the buffet car, in car A. No one is from Mia. Is supposed to get off at Ivanhoe.
Okay, so heading across to Broken Hill.
We have a Mia on board. Can you make yourself known to a crew member in the buffet car in the front of the train? Thank you.
Okay, so heading across to Broken Hill. I've locked in the Sculptures and probably the Silverton as well. Was sort of tossing up between the Silverton and the Menindee because someone locked in the Menindee, and for the Sculptures, not the Sculptures, the Silverton, someone had locked in the Mine. It's pretty badly organised, but it is Broken Hill. No one does these tours anyway, and because someone had locked in the Mine and the Silverton, I wasn't really interested in going to the Mine, so I just thought the Menindee. But then, yeah, it's probably cheap. But then I can just do the Silverton without the Mine, even though I've got to pay more because I'm going to do myself. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to look on the Silverton probably, and there's the Mad Max Museum. So yeah, because that's where Mad Max was filmed, out at Silverton. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. In fact, wasn't it Death Valley where Star Wars? I think Star Wars was filmed at Death Valley in just out of Nevada or just out of Vegas. You know, that scene with that robot. I think that's right. But yes, Mad Max, Silverton, and it's kind of a ghost town, so that could be quite applicable for Barrenness to be talking about Casper Ruud and the whole time out at Silverton. Yes, there's also the synagogue as well, Broken Hill. A few others, yeah, good. It's an interesting spot. Yeah, Barron went there a number of years ago. Yeah, the Pro Hard Gallery, probably the highlight. And there's also this, I don't know, a lot of kind of artwork there. So yeah, I think it's an interesting spot, and it's good for doing day trips. And it is a highlight in the Planet Guide as well. And then you can then go on. Oh, now that's yeah. Then you can go into Adelaide or through Flinders Ranges. But that's the other interesting thing is that yes, it's actually closer. Yeah, Adelaide is of course closer to Broken Hill than Sydney, which makes sense. But in fact, Canberra's actually closer, which again makes sense than Sydney. But not only that, Melbourne is closer to Broken Hill than Sydney. So actually, Sydney comes in 4 behind Adelaide, Canberra, and Melbourne in terms of being closer to Broken Hill. So it's kind of and it does run off the Adelaide time as well. So maybe just change the borders. Yeah, just change the borders and make Broken Hill part of Northern Territory. Yes, or maybe just make I think it should be part of Northern Territory. Yeah. Well, actually, it's not. It's closer, of course, to. It's not far from Northern Territory. In fact, you get the. I forget now. Some trivia question. Yeah, can't remember. But something about the borders, and maybe it's something to do with South Australia, New South Wales, and Alice Springs, or maybe Queensland. I can't remember now. Okay, so it's going to cut out because every time you leave, you get bad reception. But if we just do a, hang on, I'll just do a rear. Can we pick up on any emus? Maybe not. Yeah, so quite a few emus. But yeah, it's kind of. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we'll leave it there. Yeah, that was Rambrax.